Are you?
Okay, this is welcome to Best Holy World, and this morning on Following Your Bliss. Well, we're already having fun. And, the topic is love, laughter, and the joys of sex. So this is good. I hope you got your cup of coffee, cup of tea, whatever you need, and come join the conversation. Welcome, Risaria. It's so great to see you today.
It's great to see you. Oh gosh, it's just so fun. I felt I wanted to follow on the theme of the joys of sex, even though today I'm completing my tax return. It's the last day to get it in. And
really, in Britain, like your personal returns, you have to be done this early?
Yes. This is the
see, in the States it's April 15th, and in Canada it's April 30th.
Yeah, the tax year runs to then, but this is the deadline for submissions. So this is for April last year.
Got it.
Yeah. And I'm just having so much fun. It's been something that used to stress me so much. And I thought, I can't run a business if I feel like this.
I know.
No, it was just no good. And now I'm really enjoying it. And I started to do it last week, but then my keyboard wasn't working. There was water on it. And I just thought, it'll be okay. It'll dry out. And it didn't. And I borrowed a hairdryer and it did. And then various things happened. It wouldn't let me into the website. And I just thought, it's all good. I know it's straightforward. It's very simple what I have to do.
Right.
And today it's just going swimmingly.
Just like having a dip in the North Sea.
Yes. And I'm just enjoying organizing, making sure everything's organized, and yeah, it feels good.
Okay.
And what brought up the sex thing was I was at a meeting. Gosh, was it just on Friday? It was. We have like it's a 4-hour drive each way to go to this meeting.
Right.
And one of the women started talking about how she finds that sex is actually related to her cash flow and abundance. And that when she's having good sex, because somebody said, oh, I haven't noticed that. And I said, it has to be the right kind of sex. It's no good if it's just like going through the motions sex. Right. And sometimes it doesn't even need to be sex. It's just having that joy of being in your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that could be a whole little series there. That could be quite a good one. Okay. There's all this stuff on money mindset and get rid of your financial blocks. It's like,
yes. Yeah.
Let's have sex, great sex more, and the money will flow.
Yeah, exactly. And they often say that really rich people often have a powerful sex drive.
Yeah, actually, well, yeah, that's always been like that. I just went back into American history for we saw the movie The Post. It was a movie that
yes, Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks.
Yeah. And so then I was explaining, I said, well, then right after that, because the end of the movie, I said to my daughters, because they were never schooled on any of the crap in the back, right? Like I really removed them from the whole world.
I like that crap in the
back. So I said, after that scene at the end, if you haven't seen it, I go, is the scene for Watergate. So then we went and watched All the President's Men.
Gosh, yeah.
And to see the quality of like the movies, right? Back, in terms of they're like, did you guys actually watch TV like this? No wonder you always said that you had to watch your eyes because it's so fuzzy, right? And then we did a trilogy, but then we watched the Frost Nixon interviews.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And it feels like something was complete. I have no idea how that came, but it was like this snippet of time. I went back into the 70s. So,
Well, the movies I've seen this week have been Jumanji,
Yes.
which I loved, and on Sunday I went to see The Greatest Showman. Oh, and that was such fun. And apparently they're bringing out a sing-along version because the usherette. I always like to stay and watch the credits at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's the easiest way of seeing how a film's structured and financed because the end credits show you how it's made.
Right.
And so we're always sitting there and the usherette's clearing up round us. And she said, "Did you enjoy that?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, it was great. In fact, we're thinking of coming again next weekend, at the end of the week." And she said, "Well, they're bringing out a sing-along version." She said, "Usually at our local cinema, we get things a few weeks after they've gone on general release." But she said, "And we're trying to get it before Cineworld."
That's awesome.
But what I thought was great was the love stories. One of them's fiction. Well, actually, two of them were fictional. But when I looked into the background of Barnum, he loved his wife, and he never did have an affair with Jenny Lind, which is something that they hint at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I just thought, yeah, we have this. We're still going into that Hollywood idea of you have to have this to make it interesting, as if a relationship that's long-term and devoted, faithful,
yeah,
interesting. But to me, I'd like to see what they do with that relationship because they also have another love interest. I don't want to spoil it for you, but yeah, and it just was so good. And one of the actresses, Zendaya. Apparently she's was on the Disney Channel.
Okay.
She said that what she was aiming for, she'd seen a painting that the director had done.
Mm-hmm.
One of the scenes, it's when she meets the Zac Efron character.
Right.
And she said, "I so wanted to capture that. I really wanted to recreate that moment." But he'd actually just painted it. He painted it so he could show what he was wanting to achieve with it.
Wow. That's amazing. So when you write, does it just come to you like for your writing? Is it like one day you wake up and you go, "Oh, today, like it's writing day. It's just coming to me. I'm inspired." Is that what occurs for you?
I've been experimenting with different things. Sometimes I don't know until I get to the desk. And other times it's just I've got to write, and it's tingling through my fingers. Or else I'm bathed in a light.
Uh-huh.
Like sometimes I'll be doing a sort of exercise and I'm just sort of, and I'm just like, write, and I've got to go and write. And I often don't know what I'm going to write. Right. Sometimes I do, but often I don't. And yesterday I sat down, I was writing away, and I'm not sure what I wrote yesterday. It's often not till I read it back. I used to structure, and I find I structure quite naturally,
mm-hmm.
but I learned a lot of techniques, and in some ways that actually made me too self-conscious because I kept thinking, "Oh, I must work in this way."
Right.
And so I've gone away from that again, and I often do things like I'll do paintings. I'll paint. When I was writing The Last Dragon Keeper, when I painted the dragon, I then knew it was like it released something in me. I'd been looking for images of dragons, and there were none that were like my dragon.
Well, you know what I just heard you say, which I thought was cute, when you said you were bathed in light, right? And then you go, "Right, I need to write," right? And then all of a sudden it was like, I was doing something and we're talking about, would you rather be right or be happy, right? But then I was like, you can be happy and right.
Hi, Diana. Good morning. Yeah, and this is it. And there is no right. And sometimes, especially if I'm what I call head writing,
yeah,
I end up going in and I've got too many choices, and I'm thinking, oh, I could go this way, I could go that way, and that's when I'm overthinking it. But if I'm just going with the flow of it, it feels great.
Yeah.
And some writers used to go on about how you had to suffer. Will Self used to say, when the blood's coming out your eyes, and I think, no, thank you.
No.
And often it's getting into that state, that orgasmic state, because sometimes it feels sexual.
I'm these images are coming to mind now, Risaria. Okay. There she is. You're basking in the morning. You're full of freedom with your time and day, and you've got these ideas and bringing yourself into orgasmic bliss.
Yeah, and it was funny when I was living in a communal house. One of my housemates was a photographer, and she came in one morning to, I don't know, bring me a cup of coffee or something, and she said, oh, "Wow!" And I was in bed, and I was actually writing without. It was just flooding through me.
Right. Yeah,
but I was still in bed, and she said, "I want to take a photo of you," and I was saying, "But I'm not dressed, I'm naked in bed." And she said, "Perfect." And it obviously showed in my face because I was just sort of orgasmic with delight, and it's that thing of having the life force flowing through you, that creativity.
Yeah. And I think that's an excellent point, is when you're in that sense of there's joy, that, there's joy, there's happy, there's joy, this inner, and then we're talking about bliss.
Yeah.
And the only reason, in one sense, that we can use it is like to equate for some people is to say it's orgasmic, right? Because that's the only time they've ever experienced that what we're talking about is in a sexual relationship, right? And you can take that orgasmic feeling and have it all the time if you wanted, like quite consistently.
Yeah. In fact, I wish I'm going to have to tell my friend after this about this, because we had lunch on Tuesday. Was that just yesterday? Yes. No, it was Monday.
Okay.
We had lunch together in the cafe on the beach, and her friend who was over from Paris, he's a Frenchman, and very, very typical French. Very typical.
Okay, so for those that don't maybe confuse French with Italian, what's a very typical Frenchman?
Well, for example, he loves food, but he'd say, "I couldn't live in England because of the food."
Okay.
And very, yeah, but he was open enough. We persuaded him to try fish and chips. We said, "Look, this is a traditional British meal. Try it." It was okay. But he's going, poof. He's more expressive with his gestures, right, and his hands. And we suddenly were talking, and we were trying to translate bliss, because he's an energy worker and was describing his practice. And I said, well, I actually call it following your bliss. This is what. And we realized there wasn't a word in French that was quite on the same vibration as bliss. And we realized it's because English, we have a huge vocabulary. Yeah. Sort of, it can be double the number of words of other languages. Whereas the French are more physical. We don't use our bodies so much when we're talking. It's all coming from the mouth. Whereas the French are more poof, shoulder shrugging, and they're expressive, physically expressive. And I think that your definition of bliss as orgasmic, I think that hits the nail on the head. Oh, which is the spot.
Which spot? The sweet spot.
The sweet spot. The bliss spot.
Well, I think just even the permission for people to laugh, right? Just for them to give themselves at least really that experience of laughing in the day. Because I bet you there's countless people that just go through a day and maybe have difficulty, you know, got that kind of fake smile on their face, because I know I used to do that, and the laughter just isn't even.
Yeah, because laughter's releasing your body, and when you're really a full body laugh, you're waking your organs up. Your organs are shaking.
I love it when I do a session with somebody and they are, you know, they are aware, become all of a sudden aware of exactly what they've been unconsciously saying to themselves. Even they think they're consciously saying, but you know, they're sort of somewhat conscious. And then they just start laughing. Like it's a release because there's a sense of awareness, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's so ridiculous. Why would I be focusing on that and creating that? You know, we are very hilarious creatures, you know, like we think we know everything and we really are just,
yeah.
Yeah. We need some more love, laughter, and the joys of sex while doing tax returns.
Yes. And one thing I'd noticed is when I'm really laughing, and, you know, I've gone to bed with my hair wet. I washed my hair and I'd gone to bed, and I was just having such pleasure. I was just enjoying being in my body. It wasn't, you know, and I just noticed I was feeling so alive, and that aliveness translated into my hair went all curly, and it was like the energy was sort of expressing itself in my hairdo.
Yeah, you're probably very like, it's like putting someone's finger in an electric socket, you know, like you're that sensitive to energy that you're just like a light bulb lighting up.
Yeah.
Hair is curling.
And my hairdresser at the time, when I talked to her, she said she had her first orgasm when she was about 15 or 16. And she said she was just really enjoying being out on this walk, and she saw this rock. And she just thought, this rock is so fantastic. She had an orgasm looking at this rock. And that's often you don't need to be touched. It's just something that touches you energetically.
Yeah.
Just really set your whole system off.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that's even a whole other story, right, about energies. There's all kinds of energies and other kinds of dimensions. So we may even think there's nothing there, but we could be having a very soulful spiritual experience with something that is there. In that, you know, we're not totally conscious of it, but it's totally there, and that's where we're having that orgasmic experience too, right? There's so many multiple levels, but I know those times where I've awakened, right? And I just awakened and I go like, wow, that person's here right now. They're not here, but it's like they're here, and everything's, you know, just like, whoa, very orgasmic.
Yes. And it can be anything. It doesn't need to be what could be you would think as a normal condition, because I was feeling orgasmic filling in my tax return, and my shower song today is a new line in I Feel So Fine. So it's just because I feel so fine. Yes, I feel so fine. I've done my tax return now. Done my tax return now. Done my tax return. I'm happy and balanced right now.
And have you got money coming your way?
I've got money coming my way. At the moment, I don't know the direction it's coming from, but I feel there's money coming in.
Well, I was just wondering, when you do your tax return, do you get like, you know, we tend to pay more tax in Canada, like when they take it, you know, so they get it back. You get it back later, right? You know,
I haven't been paying tax the last few years.
So you're balanced.
So I'm balanced. Yes.
Got it.
So I'm balanced. Yes.
Got it. So you're feeling so fine. Actually, fine almost now is like, I think we're going to have to come up with an upgraded verse, because fine is just like getting those people that are used to just kind of going through life like here, and we were getting them to feel so fine. Now you got to take them up to bliss and orgasm.
Yes. And it's funny because this morning when I woke up, I was in a fine place, and just doing that has lifted it. So this is, I'm pleased you set me a challenge for the next.
It's like,
I feel like I'm riding a horse here.
It's like, dun, 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 dun. Yeah, well, I think freedom. I think the ability to be free to be yourself, to really know what that feels like, to be able to truly trust your choices, to be present in what you're doing, to just love the experience, are all these parts that can allow you to feel this blissful, orgasmic feeling at any time. It's really the power of the moment. And today is that special day, like the lunar eclipse has already begun, right? Then you have the second full moon of the month, the blue moon, and then it's the super moon because it's so close to the earth. And I just feel like it's this example, right? It's like this physical example, like someone's painted in the sky for us all, for us to see, to say things are getting really big. And it's a sign to just step out and follow your bliss, right? Yeah. Just let go of any things that have been in the so-called shadow in the past, right? It like blocked it out, and it's going to bring back in a whole new way. That's the way I look at today. I make up stories to make them feel powerful for moving my life or my client's life or my family's life forward, because what's the point of making up any other story?
Yeah, exactly. And you can do anything you want with it.
Yeah.
And it's just reminded me because I've written a scene in my Feel Good Christmas story where she wraps coal for her to put in the Christmas stocking. And I realized that we had a different interpretation in my family to what I've heard in other countries. Like in America, I think it's if you've been naughty, they put coal in your stocking as a sort of reminder. And I just thought, well, actually, we regarded that as good luck because I was from a mining family. So coal is black gold.
There you go.
And so that was put in there as a reminder, here's plenty coal for the year.
Yeah, well, I would think too, because coal used to be the source for fuel.
Yeah.
So if you got that's like this, the sense, that symbolic thing that there's source of energy, source of fire, source of heat, source, it's sustaining you, so I could see the analogy, easy black gold. And it's easy how we turn things in different ways.
Yeah.
Right? So that's in part of your Christmas story that's coming out when?
When I finished it.
For Christmas.
Yes. I want to bring it out for Christmas. Fantastic. Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm one of those Christmas movie people. I just record as many as I can so I can watch them afterwards, because to me, it's just that lighthearted story versus I think we've talked before about the impact of the drama and the other energies that are associated with some of the films and the shows.
Yeah. And that's why more and more, I loved seeing an interview with Hugh Jackman after, as he's promoting The Greatest Showman, because he's saying, people just say, this is just you're just playing yourself in this, because he loves to sing and dance.
Right.
And spread that joy.
Yeah.
And I just think that's great. And I decided I'm changing my film company name. And I want to call it Feeling Fabulous Films.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I just thought, this is what I'm writing. And I used to write sort of crime thriller mystery. But when you're writing things like that, it takes you on an emotional journey. But I just thought, when I had an agent interested and a publisher, I just thought, I just could feel myself go, oh, I don't want to write more of this. And so I just didn't do it. And I changed. and I was still doing more thriller things, but now I feel I'm going for the light-hearted fun and laughter. Yeah.
And hence there is love,
Yes.
laughter, and joys of sex.
Yes.
Yes. Because you're having it all as you're writing it.
Yeah,
You're happy and you're right. This is a tweetable, Risaria. If I was tweeting, it's tweetable. It's you can be happy and right. WRITE.
Yes. Yes. And that's it, because and we talk about drama, and when we say drama, it usually is implied that you the negative emotions, but I'm looking at having drama, the drama in the positive emotions, the higher vibrations, the feel-good factor. And you can have a dip into the contrast, but it's not lingering there. It's you're appreciating being in a really powerful, blissful state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, it's like I always go back to kids. Like kids are engrossed in their play, right? They're, I'll be the dragon, you be the guy that slays me, but they're engrossed in their play and they're enjoying the experience, right? And they're just in that play situation. And then the play is over. Oh, you killed me, whatever. There isn't that sense of doom and gloom. It's just a playing out a drama. And then it's a different energy. It's that what you're just saying. It's a higher vibrational, blissful energy because you're enjoying what you're doing. And I think that is the goal, or I think just to let go. It's just natural when you let go of things, that just sort of comes to forward in you.
Yeah.
It's like releasing, like an orgasm. It's just natural. It just comes, right?
Yeah. And it really just comes.
You're so quick. We rehearsed that one? No.
I want to write happily ever after for us all, for adults, happily ever after. And it's like having multiple orgasms. It's like it can build up and build up and build up, and it just carries on. It isn't just okay, we have a first kiss, okay, we get married. It's right. Happily ever orgasmically after.
And us women, we have an advantage there because we can continually have multiple orgasms, and guys usually have to take a break for a while. So, and
that's okay too.
That's okay too. But we can, we can be doing that happily ever after in multiple levels. That's a good story on deepening. Who is it? There is. Well, I guess that's kind of like. I mean, we're talking sort of, we brought up the word sex, but there's the tantra sex. But I think what you're saying is to have that sense of connection and bliss in the relationship. So it's like the partnership is happily ever after because they're playing in like that sense of joy, like children, right? Like they're just enjoying. So let's cook breakfast together, right? You know what I mean? It can be an orgasmic experience just on that, and then totally joyful in something simple. Let's just set that intention right now that everybody can have a relationship like that.
Yes. It's continuing the fun. Like sort of like the marriage or the living together or whatever isn't the end. It's just the beginning of the happily ever after.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's how I felt. I don't know about you, but when I was like, oh my God, I'm married. That's it. What a way to get married. My life is over.
No, I didn't feel like that. But I reached a point where I felt that there's more to this, and I wanted to, but I was diving deeper whereas I realize now I just want to have more fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just have the fun and joy and laughter in the relationship.
Well, we are so open to those new experiences. I'm going to look for the development of this, and we'll be sharing every week on what's happening on Following Your Bliss. Is there any last words of wisdom you want, or would you like comments from the audience? What would you like to see today?
Does Diana have anything to add?
She's just been liking and hearting. She's She is, I'd say, waking up still.
Fine. That's good. Well, tonight, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it, but some of the bathing club are going for a swim at night under the super, and I'm not sure yet. It hasn't sort of grabbed me, but so my message is just do what gives you the greatest pleasure. Yeah. And that can be just sitting with a cup of tea. Hi, Diana. But sitting with a glass of water. I don't drink tea. I like coffee, but not too much. It can be the simplest thing. For me, been doing my accounts and my tax return, and that's given me. I've been amazed at how I feel, but I set my intention. I've been setting my intention each day as to how I feel. So shall we feel fine? Because I feel so fine. Yes, I feel so fine in my body. Yes, in my body. Yes, in my body and mind. I've done my tax return. I'm a happy balance right now.
You're going to inspire me to get mine done early. No.
But yeah, have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.